Welcome back to Marketing Champions on Daily Ad Brief. I'm your host, Mike White. Now, Marketing Champions, we're meeting with the experts in the advertising industry to talk about all the great things that they're working on and tips, tricks, and trends that they're giving their customers and able to help their companies grow. Joining us today from California, we have Scott Robertson with Robertson Communications. Scott, welcome to the program.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, so on your website, it says, marketing is a plague. We avoid it, we block it, we complain about it, we hate it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, very true. I think that marketing lacks empathy, right? We use even the words we use to describe our audiences. This is the target. We're going to try to create conversions. It dehumanizes the process. And I think that goes, you can see that all along. I mean, people that make decisions to telemarket and people make decisions to interrupt you in your chat. Basically, marketers make the decision that says, my time is more valuable than yours, and I'm going to push a message to you whether you like it or not. And I don't like that. I think that's wrong, and I do the opposite of that.
So with a lot of companies out there, they're spending money. They go buy a lot of airtime. They spend money on ads. And then they step back and they say, well, that's not working. We're advertising in the wrong spot. A lot of times that has to do with the message they're getting out. Tell me a little bit about your experience in the messaging that clients put out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there is an order of operations in marketing. And what happens is, and messaging is first. It's the foundation of the house that you're building. And a lot of times companies will get an idea of what they think the message is. They'll take it to a graphic designer or somebody that's not skilled in creating messages and words, and they will wonder. And you basically have the blind leading the blind, and you basically don't have anyone there that has created the right message. And then they take that message and decide to amplify it and turn it up to 11 with paid channels and shared channels and everything else, and they wonder why it doesn't work. And when they bring me in as a consultant, I look at it and say, well, it doesn't work because you're just talking about yourself and you're not solving a problem for anybody. And people don't have time for that in 2021. I mean, I'm a story brand certified guide with Don Miller's program. And Don would be, if he was on here, he would tell you that the minute you stop talking about the problem is the exact minute they stop paying attention to us as a marketer.
So what's the biggest mistake after you meet with a customer that you see them make? And you might see the same mistake over and over again with people when it comes to their marketing. Yeah,
I would. Well, I think I would come back to, after I meet, one of the biggest mistakes that you can make is to not have a budget assigned to marketing, to not really understand that it's one of the engines that propels the plane that is a business. And I've had companies that say, well, I don't know why my business isn't running. And we look at the plane and we say, you have all this overhead. You've created this machine that has all this overhead and everything, and you don't have a sales and marketing function to propel it into the sky. And it's like, that's not going to work with the plane, and it's certainly not going to work with marketing. It is an investment, and every company, needs to do it, and you need to do it in a way that draws people to you and doesn't annoy or bother people. I mean, I think marketing can be done in a way that doesn't bother the world. It just takes another step for us to be more creative and be more empathetic about our audience.
Well, Scott, why should someone bring in an outside consultant such as yourself, where I'm a company, I have an in-house person who focuses on my social media, my branding, my marketing, my media buying, my PR, everything else. Why bring you in?
Yeah, good question. Usually, it's like, why bring a doctor in? And I always tell people, I say, I can't convince you that you're sick. I mean, people have to be convinced themselves that that their message is bad or that there are things that are bad. But once they are and they feel the pain, then, I'm the medicine for the pain. And simply put, and if you're not feeling the pain, then you don't need the medicine.
How often do you see a company, such as that example, they hire someone directly out of school, pay them $35,000 a year, and put them in charge of their brand, and let them get in and play? Do you run into that a lot?
I've seen it before. You have to guide some folks too, that because you don't know what they may have learned in school, I'm a 30 plus year, marketing veteran. So it's like I, come from, a good, great schooling, but also good school of hard knocks, and knowing what works and what doesn't. So if I get brought in a situation like that, I'm going to try to guide that person, because I think us as senior marketers, we have a responsibility to guide the next generation and make sure that they understand what we're doing here, so that it doesn't become this, particularly like these digital marketers that just, they came up and they didn't. I met this one guy that's a pay-per-click digital marketing specialist, and I said, well, what's your marketing background? Zero marketing background. And I said, yet you're running, marketing for the company, and you don't know what the hell you're doing. So why in the world would you consent to do that? And why would a company consent to have you doing that is crazy to me. But, this marketing stuff is real stuff. It's based on psychology. It's based on, real stuff of why how we can persuade people and why people will behave the way that we think that they will. And also, like I said, and do it in a way that isn't sort of a plague to the world.
Well, Scott, if you want to give someone a piece of advice, they're just graduating, they just left a job looking to get into branding and the creative space, what's a piece of advice you'd give them for them to be successful?
Just understand the order of operations in marketing. Understand that message comes first, and really work on storytelling. I can recommend Don Miller's books. Obviously the best-selling Building a Story Brand is fantastic. Like I said, full disclosure, I'm a Story Brand certified guide in his program. I love that framework. I use it for all of my clients. I also think the Business Made Simple book is very good, but that Don has out. I think that things like that are really, it's important to read everything that's come before you in the marketing profession, so that you can that you can innovate and add to it. But if you haven't read any of that stuff, then you're going to make a lot of mistakes, I think, that you don't need to make. You need to be well versed in sort of what's come before you.
Well, Scott, it's always a pleasure to have you on our program. So thank you for coming on and giving us your insights.
Thank you, Mike. Have a good day.
To find out more about Robertson Communications and all the great things they could do to help your business grow, visit us at dailyadbrief.com. We'll see you next time on Marketing Champions.